Hi, I'm Chelsea.
And I'm Sophie, and we are here to help guide you to the why behind your wellness why.
Come join us on our journey. We're back
Yes, we are.
to talk about a really fun,
Interesting,
topic today that we are going to forewarn you that we are probably going to have multiple parts to this one. Sophie, take it away and let everyone know what we're going to be talking about today.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to be talking about being mindful in our daily lives around food and exercise. Again, Chelsea and I are about the full body experience, literally and figuratively. And we deal with this every single day with all of our clients. And we want to start this with Team No Days Off. You can't see me, but Chelsea can. I did the little hashtag symbol with my hands. Of being all or nothing. Like, I am not Team No Days Off. I know when I was like younger and a college athlete, we didn't have any days off, and we were like, yeah, no days off. And man, that was dumb. Besides the point, it's okay to have an off day in the kitchen and in the gym, right, Chelsea? It's okay if I eat 2 cookies one day and I don't have any the next day.
Yes, exactly. So this is definitely something that we both, again, work with our clients one-on-one with, and we highly recommend that if you're struggling with all or nothing mindset to reach out to us, because it's something that, again, we're going to talk about briefly here on the podcast, but this can be a very, very, very ongoing journey for a lot of people. And it's a lot easier said than done. I said this in the last podcast too, but it's a lot easier said than done than just like all of a sudden saying like, I'm going to not have an all or nothing mindset. But it's something that, again, coming from a dietitian and coming from a personal trainer, we are here today to tell you that this is what we want everyone to be working towards: having a healthier relationship with food, having a healthier relationship with exercise, and being overall mindful with what you're doing. We keep throwing out that word, and like, tell me for you, Sophie, like, what does mindfulness mean?
So mindfulness for me means being in the present moment, enjoying my current workout, looking at the food I'm eating, chewing the food I'm eating, tasting it, not scrolling through Instagram, eating, not even thinking about what was just on my fork.
Yeah.
What does it mean to you, Chelsea?
You just took the words right out of my mouth too. So being in the present and thinking through, again, your surroundings, especially with mindful eating, there's all different principles and specific, definitions and thoughts behind it. And we won't necessarily get into all of that today, but you're exactly right. It's like setting the fork down in between bites, or noticing like what colors are on your plate and the different textures of things. Again, I think because we live in a fast-paced world, we're just thinking through, how are we going to get the day done, and not really always enjoying things. So bad. And I think too, specifically with food, the other challenge that so many people have is they're focusing, no matter what their goals are. I think, again, with nutrition, so many things with numbers are thrown into play. So like calories and macronutrients and micronutrients. And I always tell people, like, you can hit your calories and macros and micros with like a lot of different diets: a very boring diet, a very unhealthy diet. Like, I always tell someone, like, you can go to McDonald's and like get a food with carbs, fat, and protein and quote unquote hit your macros, but like, are you getting your micronutrients in that? And so again, I think so many people focus on sometimes numbers and not, again, about like the experience or being present with themselves, all of that type of stuff. And again, I'm a data and science person, so I'm also not saying to completely forget about all of that too, but there is definitely a middle ground and a big piece to it.
But with that, being mindful, like having your mind where your feet are, even while you're eating, disregarding like the numbers, say you are trying to hit your macros, whatever, your hunger cues, like stop eating when you're full. Like usually when you feel you're full, you're actually probably eating a little bit more because you're not full like right when you're done eating. You know what I mean? It takes you like, isn't it something like 5 or 7 minutes? I don't know the exact number, but like to feel full. That's why you kind of actually 15 to 20. Okay. Because you want to like stop when you're not really hungry anymore, because it's like you only want to cook meat for so long because it's going to keep cooking, honey, because it's hot.
I love it. I love it. No, but you bring up a really good point about hunger cues and fullness cues. And this is something, again, I see a lot working one-on-one with individuals, is that so many people have actually lost those cues in years. And again, that can be for a ton of different reasons, but that's something, that people really struggle with. And so it's also about getting those back. So I fully understand if someone comes to me and they're like, I keep eating, but like some people actually don't recognize even when they're full or hungry. It kind of goes both ways. And so it's almost like retraining your body to even recognize those things. But you're exactly right. Like if you have hunger cues and you have fullness cues, a piece of the mindful eating is recognizing those, listening to those, all of that. It's a huge piece of it that, again, because of our busy lives and going back to our last podcast, our environment, it plays a role in how mindful we are with everything.
Yeah, well, if you're on your phone and you're not paying attention to what you're eating, you're definitely not going to know when you're done eating, if you know what I mean.
Definitely. And so like with mindful exercise, like what do you see or what do you recommend to your clients when it comes to trying to like create that better habit or healthy relationship with that?
Well, there's two kinds of people in this world with the exercise industry. There should be three, but there's mostly two. It's people that just go hard all the time. They're doing HIIT, they're doing the spin, they're seeing me, they're lifting, and which is tough for me to watch. And then there's people that don't even get 5,000 steps a day, which I've shaken some hands with my clients recently saying, send me screenshots of your steps, trying to get like 7,000 5 days a week. Haven't received a single screenshot yet. So we're working on that. So I see both.
If you're one of Sophie's clients listening to this, you better send her a screenshot.
That's a call out
for you.
I'm not a yeller, I swear. But some of my clients have told me which one of them, it puts a notification in their calendar and it's on their work calendar. So like their boss is seeing it, which I love. It's great. It's accountability in the entire office. At 11:30, she has get outside on there. So like that's her message to, she needs to go on a little walk. I try and get most of my clients to go on like a 10-minute walk before or after lunch, just like get some fresh air, get the blood flowing. But it's tough. Again, going back to our last podcast with environment and culture, because we are a work.
So if you were to, and we can both talk about this from like an exercise and eating standpoint, if someone came to you today and said like, I know I'm not mindful when it comes to my exercise, like where do you feel like is like the first place that someone should start with that?
I
mean, probably
mean,
depends on the person too.
It depends on the person. I would want them to start trying to track what like they're doing and how their body feels, kind of like listen to their body cues, like their exercise cues. Like today, I am already sore from my workout this morning. So like, I'm not really going to work out hard tomorrow. I'm just going to do something light and like listen to my body. And you know what? If my body doesn't want to even work out at all tomorrow, I'm not going to. I'll just go on a walk and get some steps in. So things like that. And if a client sees me and they're like super sore the next day, that's a cue to me being like, we did too much. And or it's also a cue to them, they didn't recover enough. They didn't eat enough or sleep enough, drink enough, all that stuff.
Yeah. So it sounds like the first place to start is like listening to your body and I think that's one of the most challenging pieces too.
Oh, yeah.
And because there's a lot of, again, different cues. So like I talked about the hunger cues and fullness cues, which you did too. But then in terms of like the exercise, it's the soreness, the energy level, sweat. Yeah. All of that type of stuff that sometimes we push to the side for, again, a lot of different reasons. So I think that's a really good takeaway lesson in terms of like the first homework assignment from this part one is, I guess, what I would say even before starting to listen to your body. Because again, when you say listen to your body, some people are like, I don't even know how to do that. Like, where do I even begin with just that? Is like, write down what your challenges are when it comes to eating and exercise. And to your point too, like, what are you even doing? So like, how many days are you working out from like a nutrition standpoint? How many days are you trying to follow a specific plan? And then writing out your challenges with that. So like, if you're trying to follow a diet 7 days a week, but you're finding that on Saturdays you're blowing it because you feel like you're being so restrictive, then that's a good cue of like, okay, you're having a challenge. And, that's when we can start talking about mindful eating. So thinking through what your challenges are.
Yeah. And then you can come up with, ways to take down one of those challenges and work on that for a while and then tackle another one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. So with this one, like we said, this is a pretty big conversation and a pretty big topic. And so I like that too, that you had just mentioned breaking it down and doing like one thing at a time. I think that's another thing that all of us can relate to is putting too much on our plate career wise and
Pun intended.
Yeah, pun intended. That was actually no pun intended, but thanks for calling that out. So like career wise, personal wise, professional, eating, exercise, all of that type of stuff. So when you start to write down what you're doing and figuring out those challenges instead of trying to accomplish everything at once, picking that one thing. And I always say too, in a perfect world, we'd have everything aligned. We'd be eating really well and working out at the same time. But I think both you and I can even say that that's not always realistic to do. So again, like, it's okay if you want to focus on just mindful exercise first and take a step back from focusing on nutrition, and no, that does not mean like completely forgetting about it, but like, it's just not the first goal. Like, that's
no all or nothing.
Right. No all or nothing. There is an in between, and finding that is what's really challenging though.
Yeah. And just, I think, start by keeping track, like you said. And Chelsea and I have mentioned like a couple tips actually for like maybe time yourself eating and think about what you're eating, and then try and eat a little slower next time. Maybe count how many times you're chewing, or like I said, listen to your body, see if you're sore, take the next day easier. Like, do not chase soreness. Soreness does not mean a good workout. Sweating does not mean a good workout.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So much more that we could talk about with this, but we'll keep this one short and we'll dive into a part 2. So if you're wanting to dive a little bit deeper into this, then stick with us for our next one.
Thanks for joining us today.
Bye.